Believe it or not, Central Florida's got a luxury side. We're going to talk about the hotels and the restaurants that are making this place fancy. So let's raise our pinkies and see what's happening in Central Florida on this business backdrop. Welcome to the Business Backdrop, sponsored by Edition Financial. My name is Richard Bobow, editor-in-chief of the Orlando Business Journal, and we have a great episode talking about the luxury side of hospitality in Central Florida, the hotels, the restaurants, and what's happening in that front. But before that, we always go through our top headlines of the week, so let's roll right into those. White Castle opens a new restaurant in Central Florida. White Castle opened up its third location on May 5th in Kissimmee. The Orlando flagship restaurant sold more than 5 million sliders in its first year. It joins Five Guys and Jack in the Box as other brands that are expanding aggressively in Central Florida. And if you ever had those tiny White Castle burgers, they're delicious. Please try them. I approve of them. A Baseball Hall of Famer's Windermere home has hit the market for $27 million. Ken Griffey Jr. and Melissa Griffey's home in Windermere Mansion is up for sale. The 22,108 square foot property includes 7 bedrooms and a 125,000-gallon resort-style pool. Try to say that 3 times fast. Windermere's luxury market has matured significantly since the Griffeys built the house in 2008. And last but not least, PopStroke's new Orlando location is going to feature a shark tank, waterfalls, and a beer garden. Don't understand how that fits in golf, but it probably is, and it's all fun. PopStroke will open up this $9.5 million mini golf venue on International Drive. Now that makes sense with the shark tank, the waterfall, and the beer garden. And the new location will hire around 130 employees and feature said shark tank. The 16,229 square foot structure will be the largest PopStroke in terms of outdoor course space. And if you've ever been to a PopStroke, they're actually pretty fun. It's good for families and kids. I take my kids there all the time, so I recommend it. And now really that's the top headlines of the week. And we're going to go right into our main discussion right after this words from our sponsor.
When it comes to meeting your short and long-term saving goals, you need a financial partner focused on helping you, not their bottom line. At Edition Financial, we see the real you. For more than 85 years, we've helped Central Floridians get the most for their hard-earned savings. Compare our saving rates to the big banks, and we think you'll like what you see. And with convenient money management tools and personalized guidance, we make saving easy. Edition Financial, exceptional banking for everyone since 1937.
Whenever you look at luxury hotels, you always think of places like New York City, Los Angeles, Paris. Orlando? Well, apparently Orlando does have a luxury hotel scene, and it's had it for a while, but now it's developing much faster than you could ever imagine. To help us talk more about the luxury hospitality market, we brought our tourism reporter, Patricia Tolley, to talk more about it. Patricia, thanks for joining me.
Yes, thank you for inviting me back.
Patricia, now you've done a lot of coverage on the hospitality market here, all sorts of it, the tourism market, attractions, things like that. But luxury hotels have kind of caught your interest. Can you talk a little bit about what does Orlando's luxury market look like today that's kind of piqued your interest?
So I'll be honest, like when I first started my role last summer, I just thought Orlando was just full of like economy hotels. Think like a Holiday Inn and Suites or Spark by Hilton, something where you can find a room for like less than $100 a night. Mm-hmm. And I just thought like all the premium higher end hotel offerings were mostly like saturated at Walt Disney World or at Universal Orlando Resort. But I found out that I was wrong. So the development group Tavistock, they opened the Lake Nona Wave Hotel in fall 2021. Yeah. It's about 200 rooms, but it features a lot of high-tech amenities like self-tinting windows and voice automated in-room controls. And then in 2024, $1 billion resort opened. This is Evermore Orlando. Yeah. So the property features like a beach area with a crystal clear lagoon that can hold 16 million gallons of water, which I didn't know could be possible.
Have you seen it? It's pretty nice, actually.
No, I think I should take a journalism research day on your dime, on the OBJ dime.
I'm so happy you put this on recording. Go on.
So that resort also includes the Conrad Orlando Hotel, which has already been recognized by Forbes Travel Guide. And it's actually been named a AAA 5-diamond world-class luxury resort. And we also have properties that have been in Orlando for more than 10 years, but they're adding more experiences to target this new crowd that's coming. So like the Ritz-Carlton, which opened in 2003, but they recently added some really unique experiences. Like One, for example, they shared with me is that guests can book a private helicopter ride from the resort to Kennedy Space Center and get a private tour of the attraction and even meet an astronaut. So that cost $2,650 per guest, which is more than my rent for my 1-bedroom apartment. But the addition of experiences like that got it also recognized by Forbes, which is, I learned, the only guide, I guess, that recognizes like world-class luxury hotel. So, yeah. So
very informative, and it really kind of put into perspective to me where we are in this really interesting world that we live in. Why have we been seeing such an uptick in luxury products in Central Florida? Like what's driving it? I mean, you could think about, a lot of people talk about the budget vacations. A lot of people talk about like, you could get like different levels of amenities here, but like we've definitely seen an uptick in luxury products. Like what is driving that?
Okay, I'm going to be blunt. Just the rich just keeps getting richer. Like I pulled this information from the real estate giant JLL. So the group, they released a 2026 Global Hotel Investment Outlook report last year. And they basically found that global wealth grew around by like a compound annual growth rate of 9.6% from 2015 to 2025. But the supply of ultra luxury hotels grew by 2.3% in that same time span. So from my understanding, developers have noticed this too, specifically here in Orlando. So I spoke with some experts in the field, which found that like even with the wider challenges felt across the construction industry over the years, we're talking about supply chain issues, tariffs, and interest rates. Developers are finding it more like economical to build larger and upscale hotels. Because the thing is they can get their return on investment a little bit quicker on these properties because you can, people are going to eat in your restaurants, or they're going to be able to secure and book conventions. So yeah, that's why. Yeah, just simple supply and demand. So, and this might be because I'm a little hungry right now, but we've seen the foodie scene evolve here in Central Florida too. And, we've welcomed, restaurants. In our intro, we talk about White Castle opening up another location in Kissimmee, which I think was one of your stories. So thank you on that one. But like we also have seen an uptick in the luxury market for food. What can you share on that? And let me ask you this, is that coinciding with the luxury hotel market? Like, is that happening at the same time, and are they kind of linked? All right. So Visit Orlando paid the Michelin Guide $800,000 around that for, the region to be recognized in the guide it was a 3-year contract from 2022 to 2025. And in that time, Orlando went from having 0 Michelin stars in 2022 to over 50. And that is kind of insane to think about. But interesting enough, many of those restaurants are actually inside these higher end hotels. So we have like Knife and Spoon inside the Ritz. We have Bacan and Nami at Lake Nona Wave Hotel, and in Kappa at the Four Seasons Resort over there by Walt Disney World. So developers behind higher end hotel projects in Orlando and restaurant executives has said this recognition helps. And one expert previously told the Orlando Business Journal that the food scene is a key component of a successful destination. People do want to go out and have a nice meal. So it does kind of seem like this relationship is symbiotic in some sort of way. So I wanted to kind of have you help me introduce who you spoke to. Obviously, you talked to an expert that can tell us a little bit more about the luxury market. Who was that, and what really piqued your interest to talk to them? So I talked to Rob DelliBovi. He is like us in a way. He's a self-claimed hospitality nerd. We are nerds, yes. Yes, but unlike us, he has stayed at over 40 four-season resort properties. That's 40 more than I've been at. Yes, me too. So anyways, he's been in the hospitality industry for over 30 years, and he's also the CEO of RDB Hospitality Group. So his company is kind of like 2-in-1 in a way. He handles the bookings of trips for like high net worth travelers. Think, your touring musicians or your sports teams. But he's also a consultant for hotels, restaurants, and bars, helping businesses operate or sell themselves to this type of crowd. But I met him last year, I want to say around December, when he opened his office in Lake Nona. And we talked about like why he did that. And, you know, he kind of touches a little bit about why he sees the city beautiful, you know, becoming bougie in a way. So, yeah, we had a really fun conversation.
All right. So let's see a little more from Patricia's conversation with Rob, and we'll be right back.
I know you opened this office in Orlando recently, so I kind of want to talk a little bit about, you know, how the region has been kind of known for being that like middle class family destination. And I kind of wanted to see like what changes have you seen, and how did that like inspire you to, you know, expand your business here too?
Yeah, we opened this office in Orlando selfishly, as we believe we've noticed a number of indicators that this market is on the verge of already exploding in terms of attracting the really high-end luxury client. As you mentioned, the city and the market has always been known for accommodating, the middle class, upper middle class, families, people going to the parks, some trade shows, and from kind of all walks of life. But the luxury client came here, but not in mass, and not as kind of, maybe let's call it, not on top of their list as a destination that could really accommodate them. We've seen a number of indicators, which I can discuss, and just honestly, a number of our own luxury clients who have said, what's going on in Orlando. And, we're kind of calling it, we're saying it's a bit akin to what Nashville was maybe 15 years ago, where it was kind of a fun city where people went to enjoy country music, kind of on the mid-level in terms of budget for the travel and hospitality and experience. And then Nashville kind of traded up, and now, you have the millionaires, billionaires, celebrities, enormous names going there for leisure and for work purposes. So we see the same kind of track for Orlando. That would include the infrastructure, which game has been upped in terms of, let's say, hospitality and restaurant-wise. There's a number of Michelin-rated restaurants in Orlando now. Who saw that coming? And I've dined at them. They're fantastic. Hospitality venues in terms of hotels. Orlando's 5-star now. There's not just one mid-level 5-star property as there was in the past. There's a number of 5-star experiences there. Upping the game at the parks to include the luxury traveler with these VIP tours and VIP experiences, and then the varied rejuvenation of, the Bright Line being added, the airport being renovated, the Camping World Stadium renovation, which will attract bigger names, downtown's rejuvenation, this and more. We're seeing all of these things happening at once, and we're literally, as we own this travel company, seeing the client react to this. So it's we enjoy Orlando, but we're not in town here. Because it's a fun place and we enjoy it. We're in town because we believe, a bit opportunistically, that this is really the next place for entertainment, for sports, for leisure, for business, continued with conferences, et cetera.
It's funny, like I went to Vegas about a month ago, and on my plane trip back, I saw this kid in first class wearing his like Gucci outfit with his iPad on, and I'm like, this kid's about to have the best like Disney Universal trip of his life.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like that kid probably wasn't going there 15 years ago, or maybe was going with his parents or begrudgingly, now it's like, now people are calling us every day and are like, oh, book me a $10,000, Disney VIP tour and set me up at a Michelin rated steakhouse, and make sure I have a 5-star room, and and they're booking a $25,000 trip. Just didn't happen in this market 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And I would even say around COVID time, before and after COVID, it was more limited than it is now. And not just a parks thing, by the way, Patricia, you know, I think the convention center is getting bigger conferences. I think on the private corporate level, meaning like corporations that are coming in, you know, to town to activate, not at a convention center level, but maybe just like for their own internal kind of all hands trip, like huge names coming on a higher level. And then the future, which is most important, right? You know, to me, the renovation of Camping World Stadium, which, you know, love you all, is not great, right? Like when Camping World Stadium is upgraded, I've mentioned, you know, this city will get Super Bowls. It'll get, you know, Taylor Swift level tours that can't come to that stadium right now. And that's just, and with the rejuvenation of the downtown area that's announced, you know, that's all, you know, that game is going to be up to like no other. It's going to be like, imagine a Super Bowl in Orlando. And Super Bowls, you don't just need a nice stadium, you need nice hotels, right? You need safety, you need great infrastructure, great airport, right? You need public transportation. It just all has to be there. Because the Super Bowl, the NFL sends out a big list of 100 things it needs, and I think Orlando had 38 of those, and I think now it has like 88, and I think it's about to go to 100. So so much going on, crazy.
And I'm curious too, just, you know, on the topic of downtown, you know, we have Westcourt is one of the projects that we are watching, which is right next to the Kia Center. One of the hotels that signed onto that project is Kipton brand. So can you talk a little bit about that brand? And, you know, that's considered a high-end brand, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah. Kimptons are 4.5 star, right? High-end brand. And most importantly, Kimpton's entire thing, since Bill Kimpton created the brand, Kimpton's entire thing is to go to markets a couple years before they absolutely explode. So on the RDB model, or I should say, we're taking the Kimpton model, as they're much, you know, they've been around longer than us, is like, you know, they know, right? They're not going there again because they're, you know, because there's not a lot. They know what's happening, and they know that this type of traveler is traveling there. You know, the model for them is probably the Grand Bohemian. You know, that's a high-end lifestyle hotel, which is what Kimpton is. So Kimpton probably sees the Grand Bohemian making money and just recently renovating, right? And saying, oh, like this is a place that we have to be. So that's an indicator alone. But you know, there's a lot of hotel projects coming. You know, you have an Intercon coming, you have W coming. W, you know, Marriott's not doing a very good job of advertising it, but W is a completely rejuvenated brand, and it's a more mature brand now. And it's only going to markets with people, you know, their expectation of the average rate they're going to get is much higher than it used to be. And they're going places where they know people have money are going. So these are all indicators. And don't forget, we've talked about Nobu. We've talked about potential Tao, which the news changes on every week. But like the Nobu and Tao, I mean, again, these are not brands that go to middle markets. They are not. So, but and it's not just a Nobu going, again, when you add all of this together, all of the 20 things we just talked about and 15 things we don't even know about, you know, we're talking about a market that's pretty serious, that has people coming already and then is expecting major growth in the luxury segment and the big spender segment.
So Patricia, after chatting with Rob about the luxury market and through the reporting that you've done, what are some of the projects that you're watching in Central Florida?
So I'm watching a couple. One of those is the Intercontinental Hotel underway on International Drive. So the developers behind this project are also the same ones with Icon Park, which I know you guys went to a couple episodes ago. Yeah. So, but they're investing over $500 million into this. Wow. And it is in an area that is mostly full of like those economy hotels. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting just to see how this hotel will do, and if it will also like inspire other developments in the tourism corridor. And that one is set to open in 2028. Another one I'm watching is actually right here in our backyard in downtown Orlando. Mm-hmm. It's the Westcourt project, which think you guys touched on in another episode too. Yeah. So this is that planned mixed use development right across the street from the Kia Center. And it will include a Live Nation event venue, restaurants, retail, and the Kipton branded hotel that me and Rob talk about. And that one is also expected to open in 2028.
Wow. So definitely a lot of exciting projects on our way to kind of see how Orlando reacts to this growing luxury market. So Patricia, thank you again for joining us and sharing your insight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And we'll be right back after this break.
When it comes to meeting your short and long-term saving goals, you need a financial partner focused on helping you, not their bottom line. At Addition Financial, we see the real you. For more than 85 years, we've helped Central Floridians get the most for their hard-earned savings. Compare our saving rates to the big banks, and we think you'll like what you see. And with convenient money management tools and personalized guidance, we make saving easy. Addition Financial, exceptional banking for everyone since 1937.
So thank you to Patricia Tolley for joining us and sharing her insight on the luxury market in Central Florida. And thank you to you for joining us on this episode. And a big thanks to Addition Financial for sponsoring the Business Backdrop. So we hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please like, subscribe, and rate our show and tell your friends about the Business Backdrop. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever else you get your podcasts. And as always, I'll see you next time.